له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله ان الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا ايها الذين امنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا مولانا وبارك وسلم وسلم عليه. My brother Islam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has brought us together, alhamdulillah, to understand those words that came out from my beloved Nabi Muhayyuddeen Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam's mouth, and whatever he did while he was on this earth, those sunnah acts that he had done which we have to follow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us hidayat to understand that. Now we are still in kitab imaan, where our Nabi Muhayyuddeen Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's hadiths is about your imaan, how you must believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when you believe what happens. So this here is another hadith in kitab imaan, mishkaat masabeeh. وعن عمر بن عاص قال أتيت النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. Hazrat Umar bin As radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Jalil al-Qadr sahabi, great sahabi. Hazrat Umar bin As radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Khalid bin Walid, Usman bin Talha, these three were the sahabas that came into Madinatul Munawwara and became Muslim. They accepted Islam. Hazrat Umar bin As radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was appointed a governor of Amman by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. And after the fatah of Misr, of Egypt, he stayed there in Misr, and he died at about age of 90 years old. So he was a very great sahabi who saw Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam with his own eyes. So he says, قال أتيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He came to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. فقلت, and he said, أبسط يمينك. He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, show me your right hand. فلا أبايعك. I want to make bayt. Now bayt is basically when you put your hand on somebody's hand and you say that I accept. Like for example, nowadays where it is shown like where the sheikh, the murid comes to the sheikh and says, I want to become your murid. And the sheikh, he puts his hand forward and the murid puts his hand on his hand. It's like taking a promise, like how Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam used to do in the wars before the ghazwa, where he used to call the sahaba and say to them that I'm going to the ghazwa, do you accept, do you want to go with me? So they put their hands in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hand, giving him a promise, a firm promise to say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are with you. Or if a person wants to do something good in his life, that he, like for example, he'll read namaz, he puts his hand in the hand of Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam, say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I promise I will read namaz, just like how you read namaz. So here also, from this hadith, it is shown that it's also permissible nowadays when a murid goes to a sheikh and he wants to become a murid of his, and he says to him, puts his hand in his hand and says, I promise you that I will follow Islam like how you follow. Whatever you believe in, I also believe in that. So giving your hand like that and putting your hand upon the person's hand who is in front of you and making that firm promise is basically taking bayt under his hand. Right? So taking bayt under Sheikh's hand is permissible, and it is sunnah, like my Nabi Muhayyuddeen Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it himself. Like Hazrat Umar bin As radiyallahu ta'ala, when he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, give me your right hand. Fala ubayyuka. I want to make bayt on your hand. I want to put my hand in your hand and I want to take a qasam. Fabasata yaminahu. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his hand forward. From here you can see the permissibility of where a murid and a sheikh and a murid, how they take bayt. فَبَسَطَ يَمِينَهُ Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his hand forward. فَقَبَزْتُ يَدِهِ. But Hazrat Umar bin As radiyallahu ta'ala, now he pulled his hand back. Not out of disrespect, but there was a reason for it. So he pulled his hand backwards and he said, فَقَالَ مَا لَكَ يَا Umar. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, what happened, Ya Umar? وَقُلْتُ أُرِدْتُ أَنْ أَشْتَرِطَ. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I have intention to make a condition with you, to make a shart before I do that. قال تشترط. What condition is it? ماذا قلت أن يغفر لي. That I had intention that if I give my hand in your hand, that Allah must forgive me for all my gunas. Now my brother Islam, if you look at this, you can see the mentality of the Sahabi and how much of respect he had for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what he knew inside him, that if he put his hand and he make this type of condition and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam accept the condition, for sure he'll be forgiven. That he had that in his heart, that was his iman. And that is how iman must be as well. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Malik-e-Kaunain. He's the owner of two worlds. And for sure, if he makes a condition, it's done. Even if a person goes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he made a condition, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I will take bet, I will make that firm promise in your hand, but providing you give me Jannah. Some Sahabas would have done that. Some Sahabas did that. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him Jannah as well. Because he was a Malik of Jannat and Jahannam, whatever it is. But this world and the hereafter is all in the hands of our Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. And the Sahaba Ikram, they knew that, and they had that iman, that whatever they wanted they could get from my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Even whatever guna they had committed before, if they put their hand in the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a condition that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam must be forgiven, they'll be forgiven as well. So he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I had intention that when I put my hand on your hand, the condition must be that I must be forgiven. Qala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Ama allimtu ya Umar? Don't you know, Ya Umar? Innal Islama yahdimu ma kana qablahu. Don't you know that when you become a Muslim, when you accept Islam, yahdimu, it finishes ma kana qablahu, whatever happened before. Which means that when you put your hand or you become a Muslim, you accept Islam, whatever guna or anything that a person committed before that, it's all wiped out. You become clean slate. That is the greatness of Islam itself. وَإِنَّ الْهِجْرَةَ تَحْدِمُ مَا كَانَ قَبْلَهَا. And even if you make hijrat from one place to the other place. Now making hijrat, you only may move from one place to the other place because of sawab. Otherwise, there's no other reason for you to make a hijrat. Like for example, if Islam itself, or to practice Islam in a certain place is becoming difficult, then Islam, it says it's permissible for you to move from this place and go to the next place. Like my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam, when he was in Makkah, when they used to treat him badly, they shouldn't make them make ibadat properly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to my Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, now it is time for you to make hijrat from Makkah and go to Medina. That is when he made hijrat, and he went to Medina so that they can practice Islam openly and properly. So even here also, my brother Islam, it is saying that if you make hijrat, you are making hijrat only for gaining sawab. Then it also washes away all the sins that you have committed before. Makana qabla. Wa innal hajja yahdimu makana qablahu. And even if you go for Hajj and come back, you must have heard this, that anyone goes for Hajj and come back, you come back like a newborn child. Illa mashallah, but some people, they go back to their old ideas and their old ways. But may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give those people that go for Hajj and come back, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep them clean like that, and they must carry on their amals like that. Like how we find nowadays, alhamdulillah, most of our people when go for Hajj and come back, they keep to their namaz, they don't miss their namaz, they don't speak out of the way, they keep and they make sure they act upon the sunnah of Nabi Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they do everything that they're supposed to do in a proper way. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us also like that, because whatever guna we had committed before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala washes all that away, give us a clean slate. This is the barakat of Hajj, this is the barakat of making hijrat from one place to the other place, and the greatest barakat is when you accept Islam and you become a Muslim, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also wipes away all the guna that you committed before. So all of us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us hidayat, wallah, to act upon the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we must do whatever needs to be done, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us clean like that and make us better Muslim of the future. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh mubin. Jazakumullahu khair. This hadith is mentioned in Muslim Sharif. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the hidayat to understand that. Jazakumullahu khair. Amin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa laqibatul muttaqeen. والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا رسول الله انظر حالنا، يا حبيب الله اسمع قالنا، إننا في بحر غم مغرق خذ يدي سحل لنا أشكالنا. اللهم تقبل هذه درس حديث في ghulestaana muhayyuddeen ببركة سيد الدين شاه صاحب دام بركاتهم العالية. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا وبارك وسلم.